How? The richest man in Africa, Aliko Dangote, became wealthy. What if I told you that Africa's richest man once hawked sweets in primary school, not for fun, but to fund his first taste of profit? What drives a boy from the dusty streets of Kano to build a $19 billion refinery that could power an entire nation? How did a man with no political office end up shaping the economy of a continent? This isn't just a story about money. It's about ambition so fierce it could melt steel, love so fleeting it couldn't survive a balance sheet, and boardroom battles so intense they'd make Game of Thrones look like a tea party. From Cairo's ancient lecture halls to the chaotic ports of Lagos, from failed marriages to Forbes' glory, from pothole-ridden roads to presidential roundtables, this is the full-throttle, no-holds-barred saga of Aliko Dangote, the man who didn't just build factories, he built hope. Why did he say, "I never get too attached to anything, I am a businessman," even when it came to love? What secrets lie behind his meteoric rise and the controversies that followed? How did he outsmart foreign giants, survive family tragedies, and still smile through it all? If you think you know Dangote, think again. This is the story they didn't teach in business school. In Kano, Nigeria's ancient trading hub, the air smells of spices, ambition, and the occasional puff of Sahara dust. It was here, on April 10, 1957, that Aliko Muhammad Dangote was born into the Dantada dynasty, a family so wealthy they probably used cowries as confetti. His great-grandfather, Alhassan Dantada, was the richest man in West Africa until his death in 1955, trading groundnuts and kola nuts with the precision of a Swiss banker and the charm of a Hausa merchant. His maternal grandfather, Sanusi Dantada, was no slouch either. He was the one who named Aliko and later bankrolled his first business. Now, while other kids were chasing footballs and licking mangoes, young Aliko was selling sweets to classmates. Why? Because he had already figured out that profit tastes better than candy. He once said, "I can remember when I was in primary school, I would go and buy cartons of sweets and sell them just to make money. I was so interested in business, even at that time." He kept a ledger before he owned a bicycle. That's right. While his peers were learning multiplication tables, Aliko was calculating margins. Aliko's thirst for business knowledge led him to Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt, one of the oldest and most prestigious Islamic institutions in the world. There, he earned a degree in business studies, absorbing lessons in economics, trade, and probably how to haggle like a Cairo bazaar merchant. In 1977, at the tender age of 20, he returned to Nigeria with a fire in his belly and a loan of $500,000, roughly $3,000 at the time, from his uncle, Sanusi Dantada. That money wasn't for buying a flashy car or throwing a party. It was seed capital for what would become one of Africa's greatest business empires. Dangote started by trading cement, sugar, flour, and salt, basic commodities, but essential to Nigeria's growing population. The timing was perfect. Nigeria was in the throes of a construction boom, and cement was the new gold. But the terrain was treacherous. The market was dominated by foreign giants like Lafarge, and Nigeria's infrastructure was a logistical nightmare. Roads were cratered like the moon, ports were slower than molasses, and bureaucracy was thicker than a Bono soup. Still, Dangote persisted. He founded Dangote Nigeria Limited in 1981 and slowly began to build supply chains that would make even Amazon jealous. By the early 2000s, Dangote had evolved from a commodity trader to an industrial juggernaut. He launched Dangote Cement, now Africa's largest cement producer, with operations in Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and South Africa. It produces a jaw-dropping 48.6 million metric tons per year. Dangote Sugar Refinery, one of the largest in the world, with a capacity of 1.44 million metric tons per annum. Dangote Flour Mills, feeding millions with locally produced flour. Dangote Refinery, a $19 billion megaproject aimed at ending Nigeria's addiction to imported fuel. It's the kind of refinery that makes oil barons sit up and take notes. His strategy? Vertical integration. He didn't just sell sugar, he planted the cane. He didn't just trade cement, he mined the limestone. He controlled the entire value chain, from raw material to retail shelf. If Elon Musk is the poster boy for tech disruption, Aliko Dangote is the blueprint for industrial dominance. He doesn't tweet memes or challenge Mark Zuckerberg to cage fights. He builds factories, refineries, and economies. His empire isn't just about profit, it's about impact. He's helped reduce Africa's reliance on imports, created thousands of jobs, and inspired a generation of entrepreneurs. Aliko Dangote's personal life? Think Nollywood meets Wall Street. The man who could balance billion-dollar budgets struggled to balance the delicate equations of love. He's been married twice officially, with rumors of other unions, and fathered 4 children, 3 daughters, Halima, Maria, and Fatima, and an adopted son, Abdul Rahman Fassas II. His most publicized marriage was to Hajiya Zainab, whom he wed in May 1977, the same year he launched his business. Coincidence? Perhaps. Or maybe he thought, why not build an empire and a family at the same time? Unfortunately, the marriage didn't last. Zainab, reportedly chosen by his parents in line with Hausa tradition, gave birth to his daughters but eventually parted ways with the mogul. She later reappeared at her daughters' weddings, playing the quiet matriarch. His second wife, Maria Muhammad Rufai, daughter of a Bauchi state commissioner, also exited stage left after a few years. No children from that union, just another chapter closed in the Dangote love ledger. And why all the divorces? Dangote once said, "I always make sure I don't get too attached to anything. I am a businessman." That includes relationships, apparently. The man who could commit to a $19 billion refinery couldn't commit to a dinner date without checking his profit margins. Dangote's rise wasn't just paved with cement, it was littered with regulatory landmines. Nigerian government policies shifted like desert sands in Harmattan season. One day, import tariffs were favorable. The next, they were as high as Mount Kilimanjaro. Navigating this required not just business acumen, but political finesse. Then came the infrastructure nightmares. Transporting goods across Nigeria was like playing a game of Jumanji, dodging potholes the size of swimming pools, bribing port officials who thought efficiency was a foreign word, and praying your trucks didn't get stuck in gridlock for 72 hours. In 2011, Dangote was appointed to President Goodluck Jonathan's economic team, a move that raised eyebrows. Was he now a businessman or a statesman? He walked a tightrope, advising on national policy while protecting his empire from political crossfire. Dangote didn't just face bureaucrats. He faced foreign firms like Lafarge and local moguls who wanted a slice of the cement pie. His tactic? Ruthless efficiency. He built factories closer to raw materials, cutting transport costs. He slashed prices, forcing competitors to either match him or pack up. He reinvested profits, expanding faster than gossip in a Nigerian market. It was industrial warfare, and Dangote was Napoleon with a calculator. If awards were currency, Dangote could buy another refinery. His honors include Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger (GWN) in 2011, a title so grand it sounds like something out of a medieval epic. Named in Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People in 2014, because when you control Africa's cement, sugar, and salt, you're basically Thanos with a business suit. Ranked number 67 richest person in the world by Forbes in 2025, with a net worth of $27.1 billion, and still counting. But not all was rosy in the Dangote kingdom. Critics accused him of monopolistic practices, claiming he used his dominance to stifle competition. Some said his vertical integration was less smart strategy and more economic chokehold. He also had failed ventures. Some expansions flopped due to poor market timing or overestimated demand. Even the best generals lose a few battles. Then came the family tragedies. His brother Sani Dangote died of cancer in 2021, a loss that shook the family. Another brother, Bello Dangote, perished in a 1996 plane crash, a haunting reminder that even billionaires bleed. Yet through it all, Dangote remained stoic. His mantra? If people say you can't do it, just smile and do it anyway. Aliko Dangote is more than a businessman. He's a symbol of African ambition, a man who turned a family legacy into a continental empire. He didn't just build factories, he built hope, jobs, and infrastructure. He showed that you don't need to be born in Silicon Valley to change the world. You can be born in Kano and still shake the global economy. So, dear reader, if ever you find yourself doubting your dreams, remember the boy who sold sweets in primary school and grew up to sweeten the economy of an entire continent. Before you dash off like Dangote chasing his next billion, don't forget to show some love. Follow us for more jaw-dropping tales of ambition, drama, and legacy. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat. Click that notification bell, because when we drop stories this rich, you'll want front row seats. Next up, JP Morgan.